Good afternoon, guys. Welcome back to the Sullivan family. This has kind of become my little space now. I'm sitting on the edge of Florence's bed, but it's actually quite a nice place to sit. I don't know why. It just is. Anyway, so last week I did one of these vlogs about just the way I've been feeling, those sorts of things. And I said that I would come back on and discuss a few other things. Just do a few vlogs talking about some things, basically. So one of the things I said that I would come on and talk about, I think, was it one of them? To be perfectly honest, I can't remember what I do from day to day, which is part of the reason for this vlog. But I'm sure I said I'd do one about teenagers and parenting. Also, somebody's banging. I don't know who, it's not us. Somebody's just banging outside, so just ignore it. Now you won't be able to, will you? Now you'll be listening. 1 minute. And the other, one of the things that I was going to talk about was obviously perimenopause, which is kind of where we think I'm at about now, kind of. So I know over the past 6 months, maybe longer, there's a few people that have sort of said to me, do you think that might be a sign of that? And to be perfectly honest, I haven't, but now I do. I think the weird thing is, I've found, and I think one of the things is, everybody is going to be different. Yes, it happens to us all, but female, obviously. But I think everybody's experience is going to be different. Because nobody, I mean, this is still one of those things that is not talked about. I mean, I know it's getting a lot better now. A lot more people are talking about it now. But, and maybe for future generations, my children, you know, and their children, it will be talked about a lot more. But it's kind of one of those things that you know will happen at some point, but then it just kind of happens, just appears. So obviously I'm 47 this year, although Ben did list me on our YouTube the other day as already been 47, and I'm not 47 until July. So thanks, Ben. I'm 46, although I did spend the whole of last year thinking I was already 46. So in some fairness, I probably made him think that I was nearly 47, but I'm not. But I'm that age. I think for me especially, and this, everything I'm going to talk about from my experience only, because this is obviously new to me. I have no prior experience. I haven't really read up much on anything yet. Probably could do with reading up a little bit, other than, you know, Dr. Google and chatting to people about things. And that's it. I think I've not wanted to talk about it at all. Like, just have not wanted to broach the subject at all. Until recently, until I started to forget things quite a lot, which you've probably noticed on the vlogs. I do forget things a lot. Now, I always forgot things quite a lot because I'm always going at 100 miles an hour. My brain is always overthinking. I'm always thinking about lots of different things. You'll have seen from like our last vlog, you know, trying to get everybody to where they need to be. We've got a lot of children. We've got a big family. There's always so much going on. I do forget things quite a lot anyway, so I always have to write things down. But this is kind of like, it's not so much forgetting things. And I know we all joke about it, and like, I'll joke about it with the kids and stuff. But it's more like you forget the words for things, and it's gone. It's just gone, and you're like, I know it's in there somewhere, but I can't. So it's more. It's not quite the same as you forgot to do something, or you forgot to order something, or I was going to do that but I forgot. Those sorts of things, I still do them all the time. Like had a form that I should have filled in, completely forgot about it, put it in another pile. Those sorts of things are your normal kind of forgetting. Everybody does it. You're over, you've got a pile this big of paperwork to sort, and you just think, I need to do that, put it to one side, gone. I do write. That's why I've always written quite a lot of things down, especially when it comes to things that need to be done, important things that need to be done. And the other thing I do is I take photos of things so that I can look through my camera roll and go, oh yeah, I was going to do that. But this is more like, and please tell me if this is other people as well, but if it's happened to you this way, then you'll probably go, I know exactly what you mean, in that it's like, it's totally gone. It's just gone. Just can't remember. It'll come back. But like the other day I was trying to think of a word for something and it was gone, like completely gone. And then there's the doing things. I mean, I'm quite organised, and I like to be organised, and I like things to be done when I do them a certain way. But I'll find myself I'm trying to think of an example. I did something the other day and it was just totally not something that I would have done. Just something stupid, like when they talk about putting your keys in the fridge and things like that. It was something along those lines. I can't remember what it was now. It'll probably come to me, but it's those sorts of things that you just, and sometimes you can put that down to, yeah, well, you're tired, you've done a lot, those sorts of things. But this was completely like, why on earth did I do that? Things that I normally would have checked and double checked, but just did them. It's those sorts of things. And you feel a little bit like you're losing your mind. I mean, for me, obviously, I'm already a bit crazy. So, and there's always stuff going on. So it hasn't been such a massive symptom for me until now. And now I'm starting to see it a lot more in the whole forgetting things. Another thing for me has been, so when I've been pregnant before, I get really, really bad restless legs, really bad, horrendous. And I hate it. It's so bad. I've started getting that again. No, I'm not pregnant. But Isabel's been looking up all my symptoms for me, but apparently that is I know that is like a hormone thing. And I know sometimes they say magnesium and stuff like that can be good for, restless legs in pregnancy. I've had it pretty much all my later pregnancies. I've had it. And it's just unbearable. But I've started getting it a lot lately as well. So like in the evenings and stuff, when I finally do sit down, I can't relax because my legs drive me absolutely crazy. I can't even explain restless leg syndrome unless you've had it yourself. It's just like, it just drives you insane. I can't even explain exactly how it is. I mean, some people say it's like you've got things crawling inside your legs. Other people's, it's almost like if my legs are still in the evening, I have to keep moving. I have to keep them moving. It's just, it's like your body isn't allowing you to relax your legs, and it's just unbearable. I end up having to go to bed because it's just awful. So if anybody has got any ideas of how to get rid of that, that would be great, because I only get a very small time to relax in the evenings, and I can't even do that at the moment because it's just driving me crazy. What was one of the other things? It was something else. I was starting to lose my balance, like weirdly, just ever so slightly. Like my centre of gravity is slightly off. I was trying to put some plates away yesterday, and I kind of swung backwards, and I was like, that was weird. Apparently that can be a symptom as well. And I think one of the other things as well, obviously I've struggled over the years with anxiety and depression. Well, at least I think I have. That's what the doctors have told me. And I have, obviously they call it, it's like when they put you on antidepressants, they put you on antidepressants. I'm not depressed. I struggle with anxiety. But sometimes I wonder, I see a lot of traits in myself that I see in some, now that like ADHD and all those sorts of things are coming to the forefront more, I see a lot of those traits in myself. And I know a lot of people have said that they've been diagnosed with anxiety and depression, but in actual fact they had like ADHD. Sometimes I see a lot of those traits as well. So I'm kind of like, but anyway, I still take medication because it helps to keep me at an even balance, and normally absolutely fine day to day. I mean, we all get our times when we feel a little bit like, and hormones, when your period is due, all those sorts of things. We all know that the weeks leading up to that can make you feel, the week before, you feel a little bit rubbish, and that's to put it politely. And then the week after, you probably feel great, about yourself and how bloated you feel and all those sorts of things. But the majority of the time, my medication helps keep me at an even keel, and I can kind of deal with the rest of it. Obviously, over the years, I've developed lots of ways to deal with anxiety. Lots of things that I do just without even realising, probably. But I've just noticed just lately, getting up in the morning, it's like this. It's probably been for, I don't know, the last maybe 2 or 3 months, maybe not even that long, maybe 2 months. This overwhelming kind of like sadness almost. First thing in the morning, it's my first thing in the morning for me, and it's like when I first open my eyes. And I'm normally quite a morning person, and that doesn't say that I'm like out, but I'll get up, I'll have a shower, and then I'm kind of like, right, I can think about what I've got to do, and I'll do the washing and potter around while Ben gets dressed, and the kids are kind of in here just watching the TV or just chilling really until we go downstairs, and then get started on the day. But that first instinct when I first wake up, and I just get this overwhelming sense of like just kind of sadness, desperation, and then it will go away again. I'll get up and I'll kind of sort myself out, but it's just that hit first thing in the morning. It's awful, it's horrible. And I remember that feeling when I was probably in the depths of feeling really awful before I started taking medication and stuff like that, about myself and everything else. I remember that feeling from that, and I hated that. That's one thing that you don't ever want to go back to. So I guess that's where the depression bit comes in, isn't it? That's what. But like I say, it's all kind of mixed up in one ball: anxiety, depression, all those sorts of things, and they kind of intermingle the two. But I feel that you can have periods of depression, or have periods when you feel down, but that's not, you don't always feel like that. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, and I think that then kind of follows up with overwhelming anxiety then. So the anxiety kind of, and I almost have to talk myself down every morning, which is something I'm used to doing anyway. I'm used to talking myself down because of just ways that I've dealt with dealing with anxiety over the years. And literally this is why I have to get up, I have to have a shower in the mornings, I have to have that sort of 20 minutes quiet time to myself, so I can kind of go through things in my head, talk myself through things, put things in place for the day. Right, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, which is quite often why when something goes a bit wrong or something doesn't happen as it should, I can kind of get a little bit. Now that is also a symptom of like ADHD and stuff like that, but for me it's more an anxiety thing. So I've kind of had to talk myself down from this bit to do this, this and this, and then something will happen and mess that up, and I'll be like, oh, that's just, now I can't put the things into place where they should be. But I have felt that kind of first thing in the morning especially, and that's quite hard. That's quite hard to deal with that. It's just like this. I mean, obviously as well, what we do for a living, we do social media for a living. There is always somebody trying to catch us out. There is always somebody trolling us. There is always somebody, like I said, phoning somebody up. So there's always this kind of anxiety thing over you anyway. And it just, you have this constant feeling that something isn't quite right. That something isn't quite fitting right. And that's quite difficult to kind of, I guess in some ways, because I've had to deal with it for years, anyway, it's not really necessarily a new thing, just something that was maybe come back that I didn't want to come back. But again, I'm coping with it. We're managing, it's all fine. Unfortunately, one of the other things is I keep waking up at like 4 a.m. I mean, what's that all about? I don't get to bed till midnight. I get to bed at midnight. And then I keep my alarm set for 5:15, and I keep waking up at like 4:30. I mean, what is that all about? And then I'm kind of dozing then until I have to get up. But I'm not great at, I always think I'm going to sleep through my alarm all the time. So I'm not always great at getting back to sleep because I think I'm going to sleep through my alarm. That's a constant. That's just not. So now I'm even worse. So yeah, probably the last week, I keep waking up really, really early. So I'm getting about 4 hours sleep a night. No wonder I'm falling asleep at like 11 o'clock after I've eaten my tea. And yes, we should go to bed earlier, but unfortunately, especially like nights like last night, we don't get back till 9. Then I've still got washing to sort. There's loads of washing here to sort out, look. Then I've normally still got washing to sort, stuff to bring it in, jobs to do. Then I'll be able to eat some tea. And then we might get, an hour to sit down and watch something. By that time, I've normally fallen asleep. But, really, do I have to wake up at 4 o'clock? So yeah, I think for me, that's the main kind of symptoms for me at the moment. That sort of signify, do you know what, I think you're there. I think this might be the start of it. The kind of perimenopause, as much as I don't want to think that it's the start of it, I'm pretty sure it probably is. But again, it's something that's not necessarily talked about, which is why I'm coming on here and talking about it, because so many people go this alone. So many people are like, oh, she's just gone a bit crazy. Oh, it's just her age. She's just, people don't talk about it because why don't we talk about it? Because years ago, people didn't speak about these things, didn't talk about periods, didn't talk about menopause, didn't talk about any of those lady things, or even, for men as well, it was the same, just didn't talk about things because those things were private and they should be kept private. But in actual fact, if you keep all these things private, how are you ever going to help the next generation to deal with these things if you've never sort of spoken about them? And that's kind of changing. And as we are changing, Ben's outside talking to somebody now, like my mum will talk to me about things and I will talk to my kids about things. And each generation, I think you become a little bit more open and a little bit more, let's talk about this, let's see. So this is kind of me opening myself up because I've not been through this before. And I know there'll be loads of people watching it going, do you know what? I'm doing that as well. I'm going through this. And you don't have to go through it alone. You don't have to go through it alone. People have reached out to me. Friends have reached out to me and gone, do you know what? I think you might be there. I'm here for you to talk if you want to talk. And I really appreciate that because I kind of feel a little bit like, when you have your first baby and you don't know what the hell you're doing, I feel a little bit like that right now. Like, is this? But, in that fact, the girls are watching me. Like, they think it's hilarious. They keep looking up symptoms and going, yeah, that's the one. Isabel's been studying it at college. This is one of the things she's been doing in social sciences. She's like, I think that might be you, Mum. But that's good for them as well because they're learning from me and also learning that, you don't have to, we can talk about these things. It's absolutely fine. Sorry, I wondered who Ben was talking to. I'm waiting for a delivery, but it's not. He's talking to the manny next door. So yeah, I think, so one of the massive issues for me, which is kind of surrounding the title of this video, is the whole not having any more children. So I have always, I think, feared getting older, having the menopause, those sorts of things, because it's the one final thing that will take away being able to have any more children for me. That's not to say we're going to have any more children or we want any more children. But for me, I've never been one of those people that can go, that's me, I'm done with having children. We've got 12 beautiful children. They're all happy. They're all healthy. They're all amazing. But I've never had that switch that goes, some people after one child or two children, they have that thing where they go, I'm not having any more. That's me. I am done. I've never had that. I could easily go on and have more and more. I love having children. I love having children around me. I love having babies. I've been, apart from the twins, I've been really, really lucky, really healthy in all my pregnancies. And all of them, apart from the twins, obviously, have been healthy births, healthy babies. And I think as an older mum, I'm about a million times more chilled out than I was when I was younger, and probably about a million times more confident. So having Florence to having Elizabeth, I'm like a completely different person. I'm so much more laid back with her. I'm so much more, and it partly comes with age, I guess, and a lot of it comes with, I'm not even going to say experience, because things still happen that not shock me, but I still don't know how to do some things. I'm like, not dealt with this before. I just love having children. I love having children. I love watching them grow up. I just love all of it. All of it. All of it. For some reason, my camera is a bit dark. I apologise. I don't know why. I do have a new light, but I can't actually remember what I've done with it. Just one of those things. I bought a light off TikTok shop to go on my phone. One of these all singing or dancing lights. I can't remember what I've put it. Therein lies the problem. I can't remember what I did with the light. I put it somewhere and I don't remember where. I'll find it at some point, I'm sure. But yeah, anyway. So for me, I've never had a point where I've gone, that's me, I'm done. I could just keep on going. I could have another baby. I mean, obviously at the moment, we can't have, because there's not enough space, there's not enough room. Other circumstances come in as well. But I would have another baby tomorrow. I just would keep, I like I said, I love having them. I love being around them. I've seen how fast they grow up. They grow up so incredibly fast. But I love having the older ones around as well. So, watching them still doing the thing. I love having kids, love having children. I feel like it was what I was put here to do. This is my life. This is everything. Our life, not just me, it's Ben as well. They are everything and they are my life. And I don't, some people might say, oh, that's a bit, you haven't got anything. Do you not want to do? No, actually, I love having them around. I love being with them. The older ones are now like, we'll go out shopping, we'll do, it's like having a whole band of best friends. And that's, that's me. That's what I love. And I'm not ever going to apologise for that, because it might not be for everybody. Not everybody might feel like that, but I do, and that's, I just love the time we all spend together. And as they grow up, obviously they go off, they have their own lives, they do all their own things. So those moments might be few and far between. But when we all finally, planets align and we can all go off out somewhere and they're not working and all this, it's great. Just having them around the house is great. We get on really, really well. And obviously the younger ones, watching them now do the same things that the other ones used to do, and the relationships that they all have, with the added bonus of having older siblings as well. Sort of the older ones, the younger gang reminds me of the older ones when they were all younger. That kind of dynamic that they all have together, they remind me so much of them. But of course now the younger ones have got older siblings to kind of do things with them, and they just love interacting with the older ones as well. Like, in the garden, they're teaching them how to dance and all those sorts of things. And they love it when they can come out with this and stuff like that. And they love spending time with them as well. But yeah, so I would have more children tomorrow, given half a chance, because I just would. But it took quite a long time to conceive with Florence. And I knew that was an age thing. Because obviously with all the others, it's been very, very easy. I was 43 when I had Florence. 43 when I had Flo. I was 40 when we had Joseph. So it took, after 40, took me like 3 years to fall pregnant with Flo, or 2.5 years to fall pregnant with Flo. So it did take a lot longer, and I knew that was age related. But I still didn't want to tell myself that it was age related, because, there's a chance when you're over 40 that you can still get pregnant and all those sorts of things. And then obviously it happened with Flo. and we had flow, and I don't know, we never kind of said that's it. We also never said we'll have more. It's kind of, I think for us, it's just been, there is more. I can, like I said, I can never say I wouldn't have another one. And that's not to say I'm not happy, before everyone jumps on the bandwagon, I'm not happy with what, you know, the children that we have, because we are perfectly, you know, if we never had anything, you know, we would be we're more than blessed with what we've got already, with who we've got already. I know that people will, you know, take what they want from this and whatever. I know exactly what I mean. You know, they are everything to us. Absolutely. They mean the absolute world. Each and every single one of them mean the absolute world to us. And they are all different in their own rights. They're all very different children. They all have different qualities, different strengths. They're all amazing. All of them. Every single one of them. I have a lot of people saying, oh, you don't like them and you don't like them and you prefer her and you prefer them and you call her cute but you don't call her cute. I call Florence cute and I don't call Elizabeth cute, because Elizabeth's 20 and she was cute when she was little, but I'm pretty sure if I called her cute now, she'd probably say, no. But you get my drift. People will take from it whatever they want. But yeah, my honest answer, I would love more children. But in reality, especially now, it's probably not likely. Who knows? I always say, whenever anybody's asked me before, will you have any more children? I've always said, never say never. And I've always meant that, never say never. Like I said, at the moment, obviously we wouldn't have room for any, so things aren't kind of the right time. It's not, do you know what I mean? It wouldn't be the right time anyway. But I think hitting perimenopause is it's kind of, it almost takes that. And I know, you know, there's still possibility until you've actually gone through the menopause. But it just chips away that little bit of possibility a little bit more. And I think it just takes away that, for me, and not everybody will feel like this, obviously. Like I said, I'm just saying it from my point of view. It just takes away that possibility of being able to have more children. And I think that's one of the big reasons for me that I've not wanted to talk about it, and I've not wanted to face it, and I've not wanted to look at it, and I've not wanted to accept it, because for me, it takes away that small chance that we might have another child. And that's quite difficult for me. And it's quite difficult for me to admit, because I know that there'll be plenty of people going, you know, why do you want more? You don't. There'll be plenty of people that say lots of things. But to me, like I've said, they are everything. It is my total life. And it's kind of like someone is just saying, no, you can't, no more. That's, you know, you're done. And that's really, really hard for me, And that is, like I said, that's one of the main reasons I've not really wanted to accept it, talk about it, any of it. Because every time I've associated perimenopause with not having any more kids. And I've not wanted to talk about that, because I know what people will say when you say, you know, I possibly won't be able to have any more children, or probably won't be able to have any more children. And people will say, but you've already got 12 children. Why do you need more? Why would you want to do this? Why would you want to do that? And it then becomes about that rather than, and you're just like, if you can't always explain to people, not everybody is going to understand how I feel about that. And that's acceptable, because not everybody feels the same. And this is the other thing about everyone having different feelings, different opinions, everybody feels differently, and everybody will feel differently on this, and everybody will feel differently going through the menopause as well. Because it reacts differently with different people. And I think I'm only at the very, very beginning of this. So I know I've got a lot more to come. But yeah, it's a really emotional kind of subject, I think. Really emotional subject. And for me, the main kind of emotional bit about it is the fact that it would be an end to us having any more kids. And that's kind of my major thing with it, I guess. That's quite difficult to admit as well, because I know the backlash I might get for that. But I think it's important to talk about it honestly, because I'm sure that lots of people, maybe some people will feel the same way. I'm sure there will be people that feel the same way. And also there'll be people that have feared it for other reasons. I think it's a very personal thing as well, in that, not saying it's very personal, we shouldn't talk about it, but it's going to affect people in many different ways. And personally, some people might be really happy that they've got to that point. But for other people, it might signal the fact that you've gotten older and that's one whole chapter of your life done with. I guess there's, let me know. Let me know how for you, how it makes you feel in the actual symptoms, but how it makes you feel as this is the rest of my life kind of thing. I also feel a little bit like that closing the chapter thing. I do feel a little bit like, right, okay, so now I've got to, so when I got to 40, I kind of dreaded it a little bit. I was like, oh, now I'm over 40, but 40 has become much younger than 40 used to be. So now 40 is kind of, you're still kind of, you see people just hitting 40 and they're like still, going out and doing all this stuff and being really with it and everything else. And now I feel like now I'm closer to 50. Again, 50 seems to be much younger. Maybe that's just the way as you get older, but I do genuinely think that 50 nowadays is much younger than it was 20, 30 years ago. And it's almost like I see a lot of people hitting menopause and hitting 50, and it's almost like they're starting again. They're kind of finding themselves. They're finding a new kind of inner strength, if you like, and a new inner kind of being, a different person, if you like. And I kind of feel a little bit like that at the moment as well. I kind of feel like it's a bit of a difference emerging, but it's all a bit mixed up in a big ball at the moment. It's all kind of just a bit mixed up in feelings and hormones, and it's really difficult to kind of explain, but I know that a lot of you will understand exactly where I'm coming from. I still feel like I've got this part of my life, but that I'm also growing into this part of my life while still trying to hold on to the whole kind of baby years, if you like, whilst moving into this sort of bit. And it's all kind of do you know what I mean? It's all very hormonal, isn't it? I think I'm also due on, which is, it's probably not helping this conversation at all, to be honest. So yeah, see, that part is still really regular. I have periods regular as clockwork. So that part is still exactly the same. But it's all these other little symptoms that are creeping in that I'm like, am I going mad? Or is that acceptable? So anyway, that's my chat for today. I've now got to go and sort out all this washing. I think I will definitely come on and talk about this a bit more, because I have no idea if what I've just said made any sense to anybody whatsoever. I'm hoping that it did. I don't even know if it made any sense to me. A lot of the stuff I'm saying at the moment, I don't know whether it makes any sense. That's another big thing. No idea if I make any sense to people whatsoever at all. But, it makes for a good vlog, I suppose. Literally, don't even know what I've been saying. Can't even remember. It's awful. It's, when you do vlogging and blogging for a living and you suddenly can't remember words, it's really quite bad. I keep having to ask the kids, what's that word for that? And they're looking at me blankly like, what are you talking about? I'm like, that one. And they're like, no idea what you're talking about. It's not helpful when you write and you talk. I've had to leave some things to Ben lately because I physically can't know that I won't get all the words out. And I don't want to do that because I don't want to start shying away because I think I might make mistakes. I know they'll get picked up on, believe me. I'm not really bothered by that at all, because I think it's important, because so many further back the years, women would have been overlooked because they would have been seen as going a bit mental because they suddenly couldn't put sentences together and things like that. But in actual fact, and it does make you feel a little bit like I don't want to speak because, I might get it wrong. I might say the wrong thing, but we use humour quite a lot. You will have guessed that already. We use humour a lot in our family. for lots of situations, probably some that we shouldn't use humour for, but we do, because that's just how we deal with things. That's just our way. That is just our sense of a sense of humour, but it's just our way of dealing with things. The kids have picked up on that as well. We're quite sarcastic people. We're quite it's just how we deal with things. It's how we get through things, and I don't think that's a bad thing at all. So yeah, anyway, I'm going to go and sort this out now, and some of these clothes. So I hope you've enjoyed the vlog. I hope it made some sense. I will come back and talk about it more. Other than that, I can't remember what I'm supposed to say. Yeah, don't forget to drop us a like. Drop us a like, subscribe if you're not already subscribed. All the links to everything we do are in the video description below, and we'll see you in the next video.